Welcome back to the Wanks FPL podcast. We are here to talk everything blank Game Week 31, as well as to review the action of Game Week 30, which it seems for Mac at least, it maybe undid some of the horrors of last week. For any of you that were loyal enough to have tuned in last week, saw that there was some necessary venting and therapy that went on that I think for the most part got patched up. So Mac, is that accurate? Are you feeling good?
Yeah, I am feeling like happy for the first time in so long.
It is spring in the Midwest, folks.
It's spring in the Midwest. The sun's come out. My team drew amazing, and I had a green arrow. The holy trifecta.
Yeah, and then vibes. How are we feeling on the opposite end of the FPL Derby? A draw is a tie. It should be even vibes, but I sense that's not the case.
No, you're talking about spring. It was legitimately blizzarding here for the past 24 hours and is continuing to just blow around. And that's pretty appropriate for how I feel. It is dreary. The FPL team just absolutely fell apart. And then, I'm not even surprised, but Liverpool absolutely fell apart. That was a terrible, terrible 2 points to concede.
That was a tough one. We were both on the Ekatike captaincy as well, which just felt like a double sucker punch to the gonads on that one. But
and I could only listen to the radio, but it did sound like he even had a few chances when he came in. Of
course he did.
He could put in, and he
always misses them.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Where do you guys want to start? Do you want to start with game week reviews, or should we just get the Tottenham Liverpool stuff out of the way? Where are we at?
I don't care. I'm gonna hate both of them.
Okay, well then we're starting with you, Sharp.
Yeah, sick. 42 points, tough one. Pretty strong green arrow after finally getting up to 74K, which is just the saddest thing. But look at those 5 beautiful blanks in my midfield and forward position. It was brutal. Bruno's the only one that did anything, and he actually killed me because his EO was 127 by me. So the only people I'm happy about are Gabriel and Hill, and I'm looking this week now to figure out how to get rid of that 4th blank in my team. So it's kind of where I'm at. It's about all I got. I'm glad I made the goalie transfer, though, too. That was good.
I'm glad you said it. I was going to be an asshole.
Yeah, I know.
You saw it in my eyes. Yeah.
I did.
All right, then next up is me. Luckily, I'm so high up that this is still a green arrow, but not a big one. It was a weird week where we were talking offline in the sense of
you still outscored me by 16 fucking points. Sorry, I didn't look at your score. I stayed off of the app for a little while. So that was a real swift kick.
It was pretty much all this afternoon, I think, right?
Yeah, 14. I'm looking at it. Yeah, I see it.
100%.
It hurts.
Okay. But yeah, I think this is a weird one where so many teams kept cleans that we were looking at early on when I had only Hill, Raya, Gabrielle, and I think that was it. And I was still on a slight red. And I was like, in what world is that a slight red? So yeah, despite a relatively solid week, didn't do a whole lot of high EO players that returned. Captaincy absolutely murdered me with the XTK not starting. And I can't say that I didn't know that was a possibility, that he wouldn't start. I had heard rumblings and went for it anyway, because truthfully, Mac, I thought that Tottenham were just on offer. And I was like, we got to capitalize. And I was wrong on both counts. So, get that one shoved right up my hoop. So can't really hate on that. Fine week. Nothing to write home about, though. Mac, take us away.
Yeah, I can't hold the Tottenham one against you. I wasn't much more optimistic, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the FTK Vice.
I was rooting against the my own team on that one. But yeah, actually a pretty solid week for me. I feel like it's slightly annoying. I'd like not to look a gift horse in the mouth, but where would I be if João Pedro just didn't get a hat trick last weekend? Because 2 weeks ago I was 302K, then I was 400K, and now I'm back to 300K. And I'm like, all right, so just delete those 2 weeks from the season. That's fine. But yeah, everybody returned. I kind of let the vibes guide me on this one, and made a knee-jerk move to Anderson and Welbeck from Rodgers and Kruby. And that netted me a negative 2 points. So great moves on my part. Really stellar play there. But I'm still happy with it because, as we'll get into a little bit later, it does give me a pretty good team for this upcoming week, this blank game week 31. So yeah, shout out to the Brentford boys. They've been a little bit disappointing to own. Specifically, Thiago, I feel like wasn't quite living up to the expectations, but Dango's been okay, but then they both put it together. And you love it when your midfielder assists your forward. It's the best. And then captain on Bruno. I'm the GOAT.
Yeah, the Bruno captaincy, like, I have to put my foot in my mouth because a few weeks ago when Carrick came in and he stopped defconning, which he still isn't doing really, I was like, yeah, I don't know if you can captain him that consistently anymore. Like, how reliably is he going to get returns? And then he's been the best captaincy option for the past like 4 weeks. So, yeah, definitely foot and mouth on that one. I think it's also on the like captaincy note. I think that was really the big difference this week between our teams on the whole is just Bruno captain versus Sharp and I on the Ekatike captain. I think that would have swung all of us in a completely different direction. But somebody who's not really on offer in that sense is Erling Haaland. And I think this is an interesting analysis that Rob T did just of how he tends to kind of have an early peak and then drift off near the end of the season. And this is over the last, 5 years? Yeah. 22, 23 through 25, 26. So just interesting to see that obviously it's a little too late to be thinking about that. But I know one of us has sold Haaland already and was kind of shaking in his boots. So maybe now you can live comfortably of abandoning him for the rest of the year and just, sticking to that non-Haaland structure potentially.
I still feel like it's a survive another week kind of thing with him, but I'm guaranteed to survive this week with him because he's not playing too. So yeah, that is interesting. I wonder what attributes to that. I feel like just from watching for a couple seasons, he does kind of get like a bajillion hat tricks really early in the season, then falls off. I know he was injured a couple seasons ago, but yeah, that's a nice graphic to what I've seen. I'm nervous to go without him because they potentially double kind of soon in 34. That might be a reason to bring him back in, but not dissatisfied with selling him.
It may just be as simple as that City have been so competitive that they're always in Europe and he's always got all these different club competitions to be a part of.
Just a million.
So it may just be fatigue, but I do think this is interesting, Sharp, as we go forward and have that wild card in our pockets of where we structure and where we spend the money. But I think right now in the landscape, it's like, if you don't have Haaland, who are you putting it on? There's just simply too much money to go around, it feels like.
Yeah, overall, you'd still be stuck with a lot of it. I think if Thiago is someone you like and feel good about, though, I think you have 3 forward options that you certainly could fill up there with money. I mean, right, Thiago, I'm thinking of João Pedro and then Ekatike.
Yep.
Those are probably the only 3 you can have confidence in, and confidence is even a strong word for those 3. so it depends on what you're feeling. But yeah, you'd still be left with so much money left over. There's just nowhere else to spend it.
And it's worth noting that Haaland is not like dead weight. You know what I mean? He's still returning relatively regularly. He's just not at the level that he's been at, nor that you expect for his price. So I definitely think it's more of it'll be interesting when we wildcard because it's like, it's a real opportunity cost there. Whereas now you think of, okay, I take down 14.5 million to whatever, João Pedro, and then I try to spread that money around. That's not very efficient, takes a lot of transfers, and you're like, is it really worth it? But if you're doing it when you're wildcarding, it's like, well, maybe I could just have like 5-6 million defenders, like maybe I can just go really crazy at the back and, throw in Saka because fuck it, why not? So we'll see what it looks like when we get there. I'm sure it's not as much money as it is in my head, but
I mean, it's a lot of money. I have 5.6 sitting in the bank.
Yeah. And nowhere to spend it.
Yeah, nowhere.
All right. So inevitably, I do think we have to get to the 3 Wanks Derby. Interesting one here. The lineup, Wirtz played in the central 10, no Salah, Gakpo up top, Rio came in at the left wing, and Frimpong played right wing. So just kind of an odd rotated squad here from
don't forget Soboslai right back again.
Yeah. And Sobo does his classic, bend it like Beckham, put it in on a free kick. Best player of all time. So it is what it is.
So is lies what everybody thinks Rice is at free kicks. He's actually incredible.
No,
That
he's
means-
honestly unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean the bangers he's put in, 5 in the Prem this season, nuts.
Is that like?
It's
I
not
don't.
just
Has
that,
he scored any other goals? Like, have they all been free kicks? I swear to God.
Well, I think the thing is, it's not even the amount of them; it's the quality of them. Like that Arsenal and the City ones were both just stupid. They were so good.
So good.
It'd be nice if we could actually pay the man. That we should probably do that because he's certainly put a compelling reason together as to why. But holy fuck, that lineup! I mean, where did we think offense was gonna come from?
I mean,
who's
let's read between the lines. You guys just thought we were shit. I was on that lineup and I said, "Oh my god, they're playing like who they play against Burnley."
Yeah, definitely the B team.
Yeah.
But yeah, they also, no one ran away with it there. Tottenham put up a fight, and in the end, Van Dijk just decided to gift them a goal. So that's always classic of the Liverpool defense to concede at the very last minute because fuck it, why not? I just like when I bought Van Dijk a couple of weeks ago, I remember telling you guys on here, like Sharp, you were like, you have the money, you could just go straight to Van Dijk. And I was like, I can't, like, I do not want a Liverpool defender. I've not had them the entire year. And I've been like, fuck that. Like they concede every time. And sure enough, not to say that, not to act high and mighty, because I did make the move, but just in the sense of, God, they're frustrating. As someone who has not had any skin in the game all year, can just laugh at it. I missed that time.
I was gonna say you could tell you made the transfer because otherwise you wouldn't be this passionate about it.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. Which really should have been the sign to all of us to get off with them as soon as possible.
Yeah,
once you got on them.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
it is.
It's the shit touch. I have the what is it from Diary of a Wimpy Kid? Like the cheese touch. Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Yeah.
What else to talk about? Brian and Bumo, I think, is an interesting one.
Yeah, kind of ghosting.
Yeah, he has been kind of nowhere. I think
I kind of love that. Like, as someone who's never gonna buy him, I've loved every second of what he's been doing.
And also as someone who owned him like early when
Previously,
he was when he was popping off. Like I think that's interesting. So yeah, as good as Bruno has been, Bumo has kind of fallen off. It feels like in that striker role under Carrick's system, he's just not been quite as consistent.
Yeah, he's also getting subbed early for Sesko, who keeps coming on and banging in goals, which is a little weird. Because if Sesko's scoring, I don't know. It feels like Bumo's like filling in as a striker and not a striker, and like maybe he'd be better served playing in his actual position with Sesko up top. But I'm not Carrick, and it's working for them. So
yeah,
I just want to say, early in the year, I called out Casemiro, and you guys both laughed me off the stage.
Yeah, no, we ate our words on that one. He's been incredible.
I know, and I continue to be upset that he's not in the squad.
But bring him in. No one's stopping you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you're right.
How much is he? He's 5.7.
5.6. Yeah.
Take out Anderson, bring in Casemiro.
Yeah,
he does. He is good for a random banging goal. I think he's I think like him and Enzo and Bruno G and maybe like Declan Rice should all just have an end of season party for how amazing their seasons have been, considering what they should have. Yeah, it just feels interesting. It's just a weird one where I'm like, he's objectively like not a good asset, but you're right. He has banged in goals. So it's hard to say. Gents, I'm going to be straight. I don't have that much more to chat on. I feel like from game week 30, it feels like I think a lot of the reason why a lot more of the gains weren't that great is just because we're hitting template season. We all have a lot of the same players, and it really feels like there aren't that many opportunities to get in a super differential player. Mac and I have Dango, and I think he's somewhat of a differential, but overall, I think he's still like 20% owned or something like that, maybe 15. So it's, finding differentials are not quite that easy. And it's only going to get more template as we get into this blank and double type structure. So I suppose we can talk about that with the blank. Sharp, I think you brought up this morning, why not free hit in 31, which is just a classic Sharp question. The week before, hey, I made a goalie transfer last week, and I'm actually thinking about taking a hit. What if I just fucking free hit, which is classic. And you know what? I'm not going to tell you not to do it because one, it doesn't matter what I tell you. You'll make the choice anyway. But two, every time I tell you like, hey, here's why not to do the thing, I end up being wrong. So I'm not even gonna bother. Mac, hit him with it.
I mean, the reason is because it's just not a great week, and you're an idiot. But
Thanks.
Beyond that, like, I'm not going to try to convince you either. I think that it would be better served in one of the blank game weeks following the doubles.
It is an interesting one where like season. I mean, where I always am a fan of trying to be aggressive with the free hit chip and use it in a double game week or in an opportunistic game week, but it just feels like this season the blanks are so significant that I don't know if that's even a good opportunity. But
what are you guys doing about wildcarding? Are you both still on for next week? Because I know a couple weeks ago you guys were pitching wildcarding this week to get ahead of it, and that seems to have evaporated. Is it just still that you have everybody you want?
Is it what?
Is it like just still that you have everybody that you want, so you don't feel compelled to do it?
Yeah, I don't think there's a ton of changes that I would make, but more so I think I don't want to actually, as fun as it sounded to guess the results of cup games, I don't think I want to do that. So, and the other part of it is I'm just trying to figure out how to play it most aggressively. And at this point, there's just not enough things to change to play aggressively. So I guess I'm just going to save it. But I'm also like, I don't know how to be aggressive with this few game weeks left. Like, it feels like a weird spot.
It feels like a really weird spot. And like, we've talked about in the last few weeks whether we should roll transfers, which is a farce of a conversation with you, but we had it. And it feels like a weird thing, even if you had done that and had rolled all your transfers and you were sitting here with like 4, it's like, I don't know what to do with them. Maybe it will become clear as we get further down the line with the blanks and doubles. But, you know, to the point I've made before, we're about to free hit, wild card, bench boost like right in a row. So we're going to be accumulating transfers. So it just feels like an odd time. Yeah. I mean, something's going to present itself. An opportunity is going to come our way to make changes. And it just doesn't feel like it's this week. I think the question for this week is more so, how defensive do you need to be? You know, could you field a team with 9 guys? Could you field a team with 10 guys? Could you field a team with 11 guys, but where half of them are shitty? And how valuable is it to just roll that transfer and try to use it in a week with more upside? Because I think a few weeks ago, looking at it, my perspective was that this is just a low upside game week. You have a lot of the big teams out of it. So you're not going to see a Arsenal playing a Wolves or a Burnley or some shit. You're not going to see a City playing a West Ham. These are horrible examples because
1-1, baby. 1-1.
Arsenal and Wolves also drew. So that's just both are horrible examples. But you know what I mean?
At least 3-3, wasn't it? So you at least had some offense.
I think it was 2-2, but yeah. So yeah, it doesn't feel like you have lopsided matchups is what I mean. So I wonder if there are even players that you guys are looking at for this week and saying they have a juicy fixture that I want to take advantage of this week.
I'm kind of not thrilled about anybody this week, to be honest. I think rolling is what I would recommend to everybody except Sharp.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not going to roll. I think
there it is.
Well, okay, so my reasoning is, and it's actually, I feel like relatively sound reasoning. I want to field a full team like within my control, and taking a hit to get there feels within my control. So I would do that. So that would be my target, and that's where I'm at. I have 4 guys and I have 1 transfer, so I am going to make a transfer to have a full team on the pitch with only the 3 blanks on the bench. And I'm looking at, I agree, there's not a lot of offensive like threat here. I'm scrolling through the fixture list myself, and I get that, but if you don't have some of the mids or the defenders, I think it can be a good week to go that. So for me, I'm looking at getting Gahey out to cover off that.
Yeah, I mean, but who defensively are you interested in? Because I think that's the question for me is like, I don't even see the upside there. I also have a shit defense this week looking at it on paper, but I really don't know where else to go. And I am asking.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Like Newcastle, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Newcastle
against
could be a
the
solid one.
ones. Brentford
I think
against Leeds, I think, is
But
a real
Leeds, I think I'm right this time, are at home where they're good.
one. You're right. That is true.
So I don't think that I would necessarily.
That's a crazy. Why is that a thing? They're only good in one place. You could probably look at Forest defense, to be honest.
listen to yourself. What are you saying? Like, come on.
I'd argue they're as inconsistent as we are.
I just mean like when we're sitting here being like, you could go pick up a Forest defensive asset or like a Fulham defensive asset. I'm like, what
Or
are
you
we
could play
talking
no
about?
one. Like I would rather play someone.
Yeah.
I would also say Brentford have decent fixtures in the next few. So I'm not scared of having that, even though I'm a wild card in 32 probably.
No,
You know, it is funny for you to say that you'd rather field someone than not, because that could backfire on you. Like, you know, you bring in a Forest defender and they give up 3 goals. Like that could be a negative.
You gotta hope you can pick better than that. If you can't, then it's time to check.
The other thing for me on the team role is that I just feel like a lot of the teams that we do have are playing each other, right? So if you bring in a Leeds forward, I have, Alderete, so I have a Sunderland. Well, they're not playing each other at all. But if I bring in like Gordon, for instance, I have Alderete. And if I bring like Bournemouth are playing Man United, so that's challenging. I have Welbeck and they're playing Liverpool. So I feel like a lot of the assets you would want are playing each other, which is always a recipe for disaster in fantasy. Therefore, to Luke's point, I think that there is almost as much downside this week as there is upside. And I'm just like not feeling compelled to rip my team apart at the expense of a hit. Like if it was just a 1-to-1 for a free transfer, I don't think I'd be as against it. But I feel like you're not going to gain back those 4 points.
I think you gotta have faith.
I mean, you're higher ranked than I am. Scoreboard.
Yeah, but I'm not taking a hit, I guess. So, it's a moot point, just in general.
Do we think Newcastle have fully fallen off a cliff defensively, or do you guys trust this? Like would you go for a Chow or a God, what's his fucking name? Left back, whatever. Anyway, would you go for a Newcastle defender? Thank you, Hall.
Gonna pull up their form table.
I mean, Chow just got a 9-pointer this weekend.
I feel like they're conceding every game.
Tark.
Back to Tark.
He's just so expensive is the problem.
Ooh.
Tark against Chelsea? Wait, what are you smoking?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm just clicking around. Okay, what about okay, hold on. What about Calvin Bassey?
Jesus.
From Fulham?
I mean, at that point, why wouldn't you just go Anderson?
You could.
Anderson. I would think you'd want to
might score.
I mean, that is actually a good game, but the problem is then you have Liverpool, Brentford, Villa, Arsenal. So unless you're wild carding them out, there's no.
But I'm gonna wild card pretty much.
Yeah.
Right. Well, then I don't think that's a bad shot at all.
Well, okay, wait. Can we talk specifically then? Why don't we just jump into like our buses, because I think it is a different conversation. Let's start with Mac. Let's start with Mac, because you're thinking more in the long term.
Yeah, that's a great point, Luke. I have a different perspective because I've wildcarded already. So a lot of my moves are geared around 1, making moves that are going to last for the long term, and 2, having the flexibility to respond quickly when we know more information, right? Because if there's a guy who's on no one's radar, but you guys can get him because you can wildcard, then I'm in trouble. So I'm not planning on making any transfers this week because of the reasons I've already mentioned. I just don't think there's high enough upside. I don't think it's going to be a great week for me, to be honest. I'm not looking at this oh my God, it's going to be amazing, because success for my backline is inversely related to success for any of my forwards. So,
damn, true. Holy hell.
If Bruno Fernandes goes off for a hat trick, Senesi's getting me negative points, and I'm like, fuck. So, it could be a bad week for me. But yeah, that's generally my plan is to roll. Luke, you asked earlier, how do we gain rank as we become more template? And my perspective on that is always just being really secure in your bench guys, because if you don't have to waste a transfer on a fire drill for an Alderete or a Senesi, then you have the upside to capitalize. So a lot of the guys that I'm setting up within my team structure right now are guys that I'm going to have for basically the rest of the season. Hence, like my hit for a well back. I just think that he's a guy I can have with the fixtures for the rest of the season. So that's kind of generally my plan. I'm going to roll this week, and captain is tentatively on Bruno Fernandes.
It does feel like it's a tough week to captain anybody else, but
Wait, hold on. This makes no sense.
What?
I
What?
love it.
Like, no. Everything that you're saying going forward, 100, your logic 100% makes sense.
Mhm.
Why did you take a hit for someone you put on the bench? You didn't need the money for it, and then you played him this week and you're rolling.
What do you mean?
You took a -4 for no reason.
Yeah, no, that was bad. I was just thinking that if there was any rotation, I wanted him more. Like I said earlier, that was a stupid ass move.
Okay, sorry.
I let the vibes guide me.
It like
poorly.
dawned on me that was like.
I mean,
That was a very rogue move of you, Mac. Like typically I feel like you're very like well thought out and stuff, and you pulled a sharp and just hit up with guys that took a hit out of the blue. It was it did feel very out of character.
There were a couple motivating factors, like the slightest bit of logic that went into it, where I was like, if I'm going to bring these guys in anyways, if I take the hit, I'm starting to accrue transfers earlier. Sure. I didn't lose anything, and I gained a ton of rank, and now I have the guys I want. And it was sort of like a reset point for me, because now going into 33, I'll have 2. So that was the slightest bit of logic, but I'll say it was more vibes than anything, if we're being honest.
For sure. I think it also could be interesting, like if we see that, a Villa, who I think is pretty likely to does double, because then you might end up wanting Morgan Rogers back, funny enough. But
I just don't think I will, man, as an owner.
Fair, honestly, fair. That's fair as hell.
No, like I had this concern when I brought him in, because I kept him on my wild card. And I was like, this could be a mistake, because McGinn and Tielemans are out for the rest of the season, and they have fallen apart directly as a result of it. Like, I think it's pretty explainable decline in performance from Aston Villa. And I just don't think that they're gonna like get it together in a massive way, even with a double. Like Rogers could score a worldie, such a tongue twister, but owning him would just be too painful to justify bringing him back in.
Yeah. And I also think like you're definitely in a different position than Sharp and I. Like you really do need to be rolling transfers when you can. So I agree with the lack of upside, and you're gonna have to be fighting a little bit of that uphill battle going into the blanks and doubles. So
but that's only if they're high scoring,
depending.
Which this season's been very inconsistent. But if they're bad, then I could be in a great spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to be fine. I just mean, like, if you're coin flipping between rolling and not, I think for you it's easily to roll.
Yes, no, that's always going to be the case. Yeah.
All right, Sharp, talk us through. Let's hear that crazy hair scheme that you got cooking over there. I know you got something.
Honestly, not really. It's kind of what I already said. So this would be my team. I don't know where the captaincy chip would go, but I would be taking Gahey out and looking for a defender to bring in. That being said, I could theoretically do Semenyo as well, but Gahey just seems like the guy I want in my team for multiple weeks. Less. I don't want him as much as I want Semenyo. I don't have as much faith in him as I do in Semenyo and getting returns, so I could dodge him essentially and be okay with that. So taking Gahey out feels like the easy move because I want the other 3 guys still.
But if you're wildcarding next week, you don't really care about who you're keeping, right?
Yeah, and I'm like 90% sure I'm doing that, but I could always just be a little more sure. And I don't really want to – it feels weird to get rid of Haaland and go right back into him. And like –
it's just called a high upside play.
How much money do you have in the bank?
I think you would – 1.1 right now.
Okay. Keep going. You're fine.
No, so I'm just looking at defenders to bring in.
I'm just wondering, like, maybe take a peek at some attacking players, because you have no reason why you couldn't go do that, and just play 3 at the back. So you could do like a Haaland to like Raul, or you could do like I'm just looking at people who have good 1 week fixtures. You could do Semenyo to Anthony Gordon. You could do
really good ones.
Semenyo to I don't know if you'd have enough Semenyo to Palmer.
The thing for me is on bringing in a defender is that, as discussed previously, any defender you're going to bring in, barring Anderson, is probably going to play an asset on a team you're playing a forward in. So it's not a great week for defenders. I advocate more for playing a 3 at the back this week.
I mean, a Fulham defender would be
yeah.
playing Burnley, and a Newcastle defender would be playing Sunderland.
I said barring Anderson.
And Brentford I could still play Vandenberg, right? Yeah, he's playing Leeds.
You could. I'm just saying that for those reasons, with the 3 guys you already have, I'd probably just play 3 at the back.
Do you want a Brentford defender after what they did to you today?
Calm down. I didn't watch that game, so it's not real to me.
But like genuinely, they just conceded 2 to Wolves. I wouldn't.
I know.
Be running there.
What about Richarlison?
Don't.
Did he even start?
Yes, he played the entire game, scored a goal, and got all 3 bonus points.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been starting is the problem, though.
What a time to buy a Spurs player. Talk about a differential.
Yeah, he didn't start. I guess he did still score against Fulham.
I mean, he's the informed guy with the sample size of 1, but man, I'm struggling to believe that 1 week where we got a draw is a great reversal of fortune. The mighty Tottenham Hotspur.
And like a gift goal too.
Yeah, like
I think this is a week where genuinely, especially because you're looking at it from 1 week, you could go absolutely anywhere, and I wouldn't tell you it's stupid. Like I
actually really like the Newcastle play. I think that's fantastic.
Defensively, Sunderland have gotten quite a bit worse.
Yep.
I think it's just a question of figuring out who that would be. I mean, is Harvey Barnes still playing at the level he was?
What's wrong with Iwobi?
I don't know. You just always whip a name out of your ass that I'm like, really? Why that? Like, what thought process potentially led you there? And then I remember that you're just checking the form table.
He's just sorting the form table.
And I'm always like, why?
Iwobi's 3rd in the form table.
Yeah, like why in the world would you be going there? Oh, right.
Well, by that logic, Sharp, just bring in McAllister. He's your guy.
Absolutely not.
What do you mean? He just got 8 points versus Spurs.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Talk about your form table. Genuinely, what about Anthony Gordon? Scored in back-to-back games.
Yeah, I don't know why you're glossing over that one. That one's and he's playing Sunderland.
That could be fun.
I'm looking. That's a very real one.
That could be fun. It could be a nice
1 week pre-wild card, because then his fixtures turn again. So like I wouldn't want to have him in my team until after Arsenal in 34.
I just don't know. Like, do you guys feel like a punt like that is worth it? It's really hard for me to visualize how valuable this transfer is, because we're really trying to think about it in like 35. Like you're really trying to plan a transfer for then, and I'm like, is it worth saving it now? Is it worth just saying fuck it?
I think it's worth it. I think if you have a guy with great upside on a week where not a lot of people have that guy, so he's a huge differential. At worst case, it didn't work out, but when you wildcard, theoretically, you're going to be confident in the guys you wildcarded into for the next couple of weeks. So hopefully you wouldn't want that transfer anyways immediately.
Yeah.
So then in Sharp's specific case, because he's wildcarding, I think like bringing in a Gordon would be fantastic, because if it fails, whatever, he's gone next week.
I think the thought process would be, though, like, okay, so we wildcard 32, you have bench boost 33, you have free hit 34, and then you'd want transfers in 35 to get players for the double in 36, because there's likely going to be a second double then. So I think that's the logic of why you would roll it. But again, that's really hard to – it's definitely not going to work for Sharp in that logic. But
no chance.
No chance. Yeah. Okay. That was just an internal thought, I guess, then.
In Sharp's case, he's not going to save it anyway, so use it now.
What about Villa is playing West Ham? I don't know. I was going to say I can't even. I think
I'd take more money on West Ham than Villa based on reason.
You could get another Chelsea attacker. I'm really trying to think of like attack, because when I think,
I could just go Thiago. Like that is possible, and I just wouldn't have to avoid him.
Yeah. Honestly, that's a good coverage play for sure.
Sesko could be good.
No, because he doesn't start, but he
No.
just comes in and scores.
I didn't say for
Look
who.
at you! Look at you turning around on that.
And
Bonds
no,
are-
I still
Remember a
kind
couple
of
weeks
want him. Yeah, I know. I still want him.
I think
But
at the time he was bad. Turning around is just getting new information.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
He
Sox.
does score every time he comes on. Like it is honestly
ridiculous.
hilarious.
I don't know how he's not starting. He's actually scoring every time he comes
Like
on.
literally every game he comes on.
oh wait,
It's pretty
no, because he
ridiculous.
did start against Newcastle and didn't score.
But that was Newcastle.
he don't.
See, maybe he's just the he's like
Chiesa.
Chiesa. He's just the automatic sub, you know.
That's insane. This guy can't play more than like 40 minutes.
All right. Well, while Sharp sorts through his form table, I'll pull my team up. So I have like a pretty horrific backline here, with Alderete, Hill, and
Very
Van
similar
Dijk.
to me.
Yeah,
Same
like
thing,
this is rough. Wait, do you have Alderete as well?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed.
I
it.
just
I mean, I will
I-
trade
oh
you
my God, you
guys. I will trade you guys Dallo for Alderete right now.
Really.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
That's who I have.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm maxed out in the midfield. So okay, yeah, that does it. I was like, damn, maybe I'll go Anthony Gordon, but I can't. Or I guess I could, but it doesn't really help me all that much.
Hey, this is Enzo's big week. You've been holding on to him for so long.
Dude, he's dropped in price like 3 times. It's just the worst.
I actually love that you guys have Wilson though versus Burnley. That's a fantastic differential to have this week. Very jealous.
I don't think he's much of a. I think he's like 40% owned. Like,
Well, that hurts me. I hope Burnley continue their mad run of form then.
23, not that bad. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Like strikers, nothing really appeals to me. Yes, I could go. I could go João Pedro. Could just do Holland to João Pedro.
Yeah, you could come over.
I think I just hate the idea of going to a player that's so highly owned. You know what I mean? When you're like, oh, 1 week punt for a differential, and then you're like, let me just go get the 60% owned guy like that.
At some point, you got to play damage mitigation though, because if the 60% guy does score, you're in trouble.
Mac, look at my rank. Like, what damage? The damage control has not been done.
I
Like,
mean, yeah, clearly you could be in the millions though.
we're cooked. Yeah.
We're trying to preserve.
That's 100% how I feel about Thiago though. Like he's
Yeah.
36% owned. I don't really know if I want to like. That's not exciting to me. Richarlison at like point whatever percent owned.
This is the
exciting.
problem, Sharp. I think Mac plays this game like a chess player, and we play like we're playing blackjack. You know what I mean? We're like, fuck it. Like, why don't we go all? Because that's the Ekatike captaincy last week. Is we were like, fuck it, let's go. And Mac has just been sitting here comfortably playing Bruno Fernandes captaincy every week and getting away with it. So, yeah, but I do feel the same way as you, where I'm like, if you have 1 week to go on a punt, like, fuck it. Why would you go for the huge EO guy? But honestly,
That's what I'm
João
saying.
Pedro
Go
could have a
Gordon.
week.
Go Gordon. He solves both your problems. He's a punt and he's not high ownership.
Yeah, I can, but that feels like a weird one, right? Because
No.
if I got like a forward in or a different defender in, then it also means I don't have to play Alderete.
I mean, honestly, for you specifically, you're not actually planning on taking a punt, right? Like you're rolling.
That was the plan, but now that we're sitting here talking about it, I honestly, again, it's really hard for me to see the value in rolling this. I'm sure it's there eventually, but I don't want to help future me out. And let's be real, by 35, if my rank's anywhere near where it is now, I'm not going to give a fuck.
I've heard that for so many weeks in a row.
I know, and that's the thing. Yeah, I don't like. Yeah,
Then just
Anyway.
fucking do it. Get whoever you want.
but I don't want anyone. That's what I'm saying. It's like I there's not a name that we've said here that I've been like, ooh, yummy. Like they all sound pretty ass.
Yeah.
Could go for a
Barring-
Wobie. I hear he's good.
Dude's nice with it, man.
I mean,
Get
I think
another
barring
Fulham guy.
a Fulham guy, like Sharp said, or a Newcastle asset, those are the best games, and you have kind of everybody else who's actually just like playing. I mean, you could look at DCL if you wanted a forward. He's playing a relatively leaky Brentford. I think he'd be a shout.
MGW.
All right, Raul's off the table. He doesn't play full 90s.
He was injured, right?
It might be João Pedro. God
Yeah.
damn it.
I mean, it makes sense.
It does make sense, and that's what pisses me off. I think João Pedro does make some good sense. All right, well, that's food for thought, I suppose. But I do like the look of Gordon. I could go for like a Lewis Hall. I just don't know if I trust Newcastle's defense.
No, I don't either. I agree. I think it's a forward transfer this week. Gordon went 7-11 and scored versus Barcelona. That's form.
Yeah, Sharp. If I were you, I'd be looking there for sure.
It's him, Dango, or Thiago right now for me. Unfortunately, none of them are fun. Gordon, I guess, might be the most fun.
Yeah, Gordon. Yeah, exactly. Like the X fun factor is really starting to play on my mind.
I know.
That's why I made my vibes transfer last week. I was just bored.
We're definitely at that part of the season.
I saw a couple people bitching about on Twitter about the 5 transfers, and I was like, "This is my time to shine." Everyone agrees with me. Like, I did nothing last week.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have nothing more. I think like this is kind of where we're at, where we have a 1 week punt over here. Mac, you have an easy roll. Feels like a really straightforward week. And Sharp and I are just going to probably do what we've been doing for the last 10 minutes in perpetuity of just looking at players. and when I say in perpetuity, really, I mean for me. Sharp will make a decision in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'll text you guys right after we get off this and tell you what I did.
He'll be like, Awobi's in. Let's go, boys.
So I took a hit.
Let's fucking ride. Yeah.
Last thing to lock in. You guys capping Bruno?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I probably am. It just seems easy. But
you know what? Maybe that's where I get my fun. I might do Wilson.
Wilson could be fun, but he did just blank against Forest.
He's getting back. He was hurt. That was his first game back.
Yeah, he's coming back.
Yeah,
that could be fun. I don't know. I would say go for Thiago for fun, but I've done that twice in the last 3 weeks, and it has not been fun.
No, I like when my captain scores points. That's my kind of fun.
Yeah, no, exactly. The Bruno thing, what was echoing in my mind this week when I saw that he was scoring was Sharp early in the season being like, what, you don't like points? Like that's how the Bruno captaincy feels, where it's like, keep trying to go for the like fun pick, and then you're just like, what, you don't like points? Like he scores points every week.
I pick the most boring captain every week possible. I'm not ever trying to risk it.
What about João Pedro though against Everton?
I think that's fine. I mean,
don't do it to me, man.
It's just tough with the overperformance. Like, you really never know what you're going to get from him. He's so hot and cold that I don't think it's a very like consistent pick. But if you wanted to go for boom or bust,
yeah, but he was cold last week, so he's going to be hot this week,
right? Right.
Please
there
no.
You go.
Well, and you know he's not going to be hot next week because he has City. This is going to be like his final week.
I do want to know who you're going with, Sharp, so I can not go with that person. Just let me know who that is.
Hey, that goes for both of you, for me.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Crazy. I should probably go with something different from both of you guys.
Let's just call dibs. I got Bruno.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Sharp's got João Pedro, and I'm going, who's the worst player I could possibly pick? Yeah, I should go Thiago 3 times in 4. It'll work.
I put it on Wilson for the time being.
Interesting.
I kind of like that. I'm kind of excited about that.
I want to talk about players that we're like upset about in our squads, but they're like, just who else are you going to go to? Yeah, like who are you going to go from Ekatike to? Who are you going to go from Mbumo to? Like,
dude, I could bring Iwobi in. He's 2.8% owned. Can you imagine?
Right,
can you imagine if he scored?
Dude, it's gonna be
2 goals. Oh, it's gonna be so great.
Bring him in, captain. While you're at it.
Yeah, bring him in.
I might.
We're all about the vibes today, man.
Or if we're this confident in Bruno, are we this confident in Casemiro?
You are
against Bournemouth.
You are. I mean, you got it. No, you got it. Bring him in, captain. Do it.
6, 8, 4, 5. I like points.
Yeah, I say go for it.
Form table boy. Just sends me every time. 6, 8, 4, 5.
What's wrong with points? Why are we upset about points?
No, I'm just bitter. You can see it's present right in front of my face why I'm bitter every single week. Like it's very obvious. All right. So we've got a myriad of things going on. Thanks for hanging around for this absolutely chaotic pod. We'll catch you guys next time. Next time it'll be a wild card special, most likely, which is always good fun. But
We're gonna have so much fun not wildcarding next week.
yeah,
You guys are overthinking it.
tune in next week to see if Mac makes it on the pod. If things don't go well at Tottenham this weekend, big one against Forest, vibes could be very rough. So it may just be a 2-man pod.
It could be in the championship.
Yeah, it could be tough. All right, yeah, we'll catch you guys.
Another podcast for the championship.
Yeah, exactly. We call it the relegation battle. Yeah, good luck in game week 31. We'll catch you guys after a long break ahead of game week 32. Deuces.
So, yeah.
Peace.